How cute are these little butterfly clips? I'm having a great time. Hi everybody, it's Ted, the Buffalo Beauty Boy, and today I'm gonna be doing a quick, affordable, back to school makeup look with just a few products and like minimal brushes, not super involved, but just something that I feel like if I was still in school, this is what I would want to wear. This is what I would put on in the morning. And all of these products are pretty affordable. I was just kind of feeling inspired with, you know, this time of year and everything. Also, I always really struggled with like back to school time. That's when my seasonal depression would really kick in. This time of year is tough for a lot of people, especially I think kids. And I just remember watching back to school beauty videos. So if, you know, if this gives you any sort of solace and, you know, happiness, then I'm happy to share. So I've got 7 or 8 products, and really all I have in front of me are like 3 or 4 brushes and, well, a sponge and then a couple brushes. So again, like very easy, not super involved, and I'm just gonna have fun with it. So I figure I'll share a couple things and we'll just kind of, you know, get it going. I think this is gonna be a quicker video, which my last few have been pretty lengthy, so I'm into that. So yeah, I hope everybody who, you know, is going back to school is ready and feels good and is excited. I know like I said, I know it's a tough time of year, so I just wish everybody luck. And, you know, my friends that are teachers, my friends that are students, my heart is with you. These are really weird times, so I hope that, you know, the good outweighs the bad, and I hope that, you know, I hope you have fun with this. So now, the first thing that I want to pop on is like a primey base product, and I'm actually going to use the Pipette Mineral Sunscreen. This was sent to me by Kate. She passed it on and I have been loving it. I finally tried it on my face, and this is super affordable. I want to say it's like $8 to $10 and super moisturizing. So if I were, you know, a little bit younger or whatnot, I would just use this as a moisturizer after whatever. But especially the kiddos, the babies, the beebs, sunscreen is so important. I started wearing sunscreen regularly when I was probably like 19, and I wish I could go back to my 15, 16-year-old self and say like, hey, your mom is not being annoying. Please put on sunscreen. So this is Mineral Sunscreen Broad Spectrum SPF 50 fragrance free. And I'm going to take just a little bit. I know you're supposed to use a quarter teaspoon or a half a teaspoon, quarter teaspoon, 2 finger widths, but I find I like to work this into my fingers and apply it all over. I really rub it in near my beard. But you can see it gives just a really nice, dewy, glowy base. And that's why I think this would be wonderful for somebody, you know, who doesn't really have a lot of like targeted skin needs as a moisturizer, because it has that high SPF content and it is pretty moisturizing. So perfect for somebody in high school. Yeah, so this is the sunscreen applied, and sunscreen every day is so important. So because I have such a glowy, dewy base with that SPF, I wanted to go for something light coverage, but also a little bit mattifying. And I have a couple of options that work for that, but hands down the most affordable was the Undone Beauty Matte Tint Unfoundation. And this is very lightweight, super easy to apply, not a ton of coverage, which I think is pretty good. You know, I know if I was going to school, you know, going through my classes and whatnot, I would want something really light and easy. So this one is mattifying, and it does have a slight bit of like a tea tree kind of situation. So if you are sensitive to essential oils, I would maybe skip it and go for something else. But for the price, this is wonderful. And how I'm gonna apply it is I'm gonna put a dollop on the back of my hand and then I'm gonna apply it with a beauty sponge. So I'm taking just about that much. And again, this is super, super light coverage. So I tend to take a little bit more than I actually probably need. And I've wet my beauty sponge. This is the EcoTools biodegradable blender. And I just kind of dip it in. And this really just evens out the skin tone, creates, a decent base without looking cakey or heavy. But because it is matte, I think this would probably be better for, like somebody, like a younger makeup wearer. That really just kind of melts into the skin, keeps everything nice and subdued, not super oily, and gets, puts a little bit of something on, a little bit of coverage, but nothing too heavy or cakey, which I think is really important. Now that I've got my lightweight, matte-ish base on, I'm gonna fill in my eyebrows with the Jason Wu Groomed by Mr. Wu brow pencil. I'm not typically a brow pencil person, but I figured this is a little bit more accessible than some of the brow products that I have. I picked this up when I did my Jason Wu video, and I've used it a handful of times and I really like it every time. It's a super, super, super micro fine tip. So I think it's just a good kind of all over, brow product. And this is the shade, I think it's their taupe cool brown, which I'm a blonde, but I like my brows to be dark and fluffy. So I'm just gonna fill in my brows with this and I'll show you what it looks like. I've learned that I like my brow to be really sharp. I think that keeps it looking groomed and tidy, but I don't know, there's something about that shape that to me feels masculine, which I prefer. But what I do is I just kind of follow my natural brow shape and I'm pressing very, very lightly. And then once I get that base shape in, that's when I go in and I just lightly kind of scribble. And I find where it starts to not look real is when you're scribbling up and down. So I kind of make a C shape motion. Now that I've got my brows on, I'm gonna do just a little bit of eyeshadow, something very soft, and I chose the Going Coconuts palette from ColourPop. This I think is such a wonderful palette to have because it's really just filled with these beautiful browns and beiges and taupes. These shimmers are absolutely gorgeous, and aside from that one and maybe that one, I think all of these colors are very easily wearable, which I think is good for school. You could use this as a liner, you could use this as a highlight, but what I'm gonna do is just kind of build in my crease with this cool toned taupe shade that's called Culotta. And then I'm gonna use my finger just to top it with that middle shimmery, champagne-y rose gold shade. And one of my favorite brushes for this actually is a drugstore brush. It is the Real Techniques medium shadow brush. And there's something about the shape that's just fluffy enough. It really diffuses everything super easily. So I'm just gonna trace my crease with this. This is my favorite one and done shadow brush. So I just trace that crease and then I cover the lid and then I drag it up a little bit in those corners. And that's very light, very subtle, very easy, very soft. And like I said, I'm gonna take that rose goldy shade, it is the shade Cocoa Crush, on my finger, and I'm just gonna dab that right in the middle just to create a little bit of interest and reflection. That was with my finger. And I'm gonna take the same brush, and honestly, what I do is I just kind of flip it over. I take the side that doesn't have that crease shade, and I'm just kind of dabbing, lightly stippling that in, so it's just a little bit softer. That's one of my favorite tricks, to look like you did a ton without actually doing a ton. I find that when I do this, I get so many compliments and everybody's like, oh, what do you have on your eyes? And I'm like, honestly, it's the easiest. So yeah, and again, not too fussy, doesn't look like you're wearing a whole lot, but it's special. It's a little bit sparkly, but nothing too garish. I think the most fun for me was picking out what cheek products I wanted to use. And I decided on, I was torn between a couple. I didn't really want to repeat a ton of brands because I could do a full ColourPop face if I wanted to. But I wanted to do one of the ColourPop blush sticks in the shade Cottage Life. And this is a like brownie, coral-y, but not too coral-y, sheer shade with like a little bit of radiance, but definitely no shimmer. It's kind of dewy. And I just kind of stipple this onto my cheeks. And then I use my fingers just to pat that in a little bit. And I think this is a really like easy shade to wear and easy shade to work with, because it's not harsh. And I think it's perfect for back to school. I think it's like transitional enough for like summer to autumn. And I think, you know, it just helps put a little bit of life back into the skin without looking like, whoa, blush. And with my fingers, I'm gonna go into the Cocoa Kind My Light, which is this beautiful rose gold highlight. I just kind of swirl my finger, and then I just want to hit those high points a little bit. Nothing too much, but just to add a little bit of something. And then I always do my nose and just a little on my chin. And then if you've been following me for any capacity of time, you know I love that above the brow highlight. So again, just kind of going in, and then I just kind of go right above the arch of my brow. And that's something that I really, really love. I find it just adds so much when you're having a conversation and kind of moving. But because this highlight is so similar to that blush, I think this is just a really great, seamless, healthy, radiant looking cheek without looking like you did a whole lot. Now, the bonus, this is the ColourPop Freckle Pen that I've had sitting in my collection for a really long time, and now I feel like people are finally starting to talk about it. So I don't know if this would be like something that I would do on like a normal day going like back to school, but if I had the time and I was feeling fun, I would pop a couple freckles on. So what I like to do is kind of work out in, and I go side to side. So I kind of do like, and then very quickly, I just kind of pat. And then bring it in. These are super, super subtle, but it's just enough. So those are the faux freckles up close. Very soft, nothing too garish. And because I'm me, I'm like physically incapable of using a like faux freckle pen without doing like a beauty mark somewhere. So I'm just gonna put a little one right there. I'm clearly having way too much fun with this freckle pen. And last, for the lips, wanted to do something easy, something, I was trying to decide between like a lip pencil or a lip gloss, which I feel like those are the easiest and they're also kind of my go-tos. But then I was like, what's a good, affordable moment and I was torn between a couple, and then I figured the most iconic lip gloss from the drugstore that came out this past year, the Maybelline Lifter Gloss, and this is the shade Crystal. I figured because the cheek is like a little bit bronzy, I wanted to kind of play with that, so this is just a great gloss. Nothing that really draws a ton of attention, but I think this color is pretty unique. You know, when I think of like a drugstore gloss, I think of something really like pinky and like bubblegummy, and this is not that. I think this is a very sophisticated color, especially at the price point. I can swatch it on my hand. This is my clean hand, so you can see it's a beautiful like nude goldy slightly brown gloss, and I think it just works really well to, you know, be something a little bit interesting without being like, whoa, that's a full lip. And I find glosses tend to be just a little bit more comfortable, even though they don't get like a ton of wear. I think over the course of the day, they just kind of soften themselves really nicely, and they're super easy to reapply, and they keep your lips hydrated. So that's why I chose the Maybelline Lifter Gloss. So this is my late summer, early fall, back to school look. You know, if I wasn't recording, this would have taken me 15 minutes, and I feel like it's fun. It's, you know, breezy, but not super fussy. Everything's very easy. I think that this look is something that you can wear for a day and not have to reapply a ton. Just, you know, low maintenance and effortless, and I feel really good. So yeah, thank you so much for coming to hang out. If you're watching this because you're going back to school, good luck. I know these last 2 years have been really weird, and I'm sure it's going to be weird still, but good luck. I'm thinking of everybody going back to school, my friends that are teachers, my friends that are students. You know, I hope that you're looking forward to this. And as always, wherever you are, whatever you're going through, I hope you know that you're made of gold. So until next time.